I don't know. I'm just like, Welcome to my channel. Today we have some fun things from Huda Beauty. I have all 3 of the new Pastel Obsessions palettes. These look so awesome. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a look with each palette. I'm going to tell you guys which one I like the most, my review, swatches. So if you're interested in these, then let's get on into it. So these are $29 each. They have the Rose Pastel palette. I love how the packaging looks on the front, how it's kind of like that like pop superhero kind of a thing, but it's also glittery. For the Rose palette, there's 5 mattes and 4 shimmers, one of them being that like kind of marbled color. And then I'm going to show you guys the outdoor swatches. The shimmers in this are so pretty, and as well as the mattes. The mattes were actually super soft. As you guys know, I do like Huda Beauty's formula. I love my Mercury Retrograde palette. I love my Neon Obsessions, my new Nudes palette. So I'm super excited that now I have these pastel ones. But this one shade out of this Pastel Rose palette, it looks brown in the palette, but it's like you got your perfect mauve nude lipstick and turned it into an eyeshadow. So I am super excited about this. And the one thing I like about this palette is that I like how it's rosy and mauvey, but it also has like those pops of yellow in there. And now let's get into the Mint Pastel palette. This one, same thing with the packaging, just says mint. And I like how the actual packaging is different colors. It's the same way my puppy is not. Cash, what on earth are you doing, bud? So this is the Pastel Mint palette. Same thing with this one. Shimmers look super pretty. There's 4 mattes, 5 shimmers with this one. 2 of them being that kind of swirled design. These are super glittery, but I found that this one was more like a satiny shimmer. It wasn't the glittery shimmer like these. And then I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what they look like outside in the sun, swatches, everything. So they do have the lighter pastel-y mint shades, and then it has the brown mixed with the mint, and then there's a darker minty shade. I don't really know if that one's going to show up as pastel. I'm thinking it's going to be, because it's swatched a lot darker than I thought. And with the last one, Pastel Lilac. So this is what the inside looks like. There are 5 mattes and 4 shimmers, one of them being the like swirled marbled design. This one has more of orangey browns mixed with the purples, and this shade in this palette is so freaking pretty. It is like my perfect ideal shimmery rose gold color, and I have a rose gold look in mind that I want to do with this shade. But now I'm going to show you guys the swatches. So these super pretty purpley. Again, this darker purple swatched a lot darker on my arm than it looks in the palette, but all of these look super good. The shimmers look really good, really promising with my swatches. I don't have any primer on my arm. I don't swatch them wet. I swatched them 1 to 2 times on my arm, and I show you guys what they look like in natural sunlight. So that's how I do my swatches. So let's get into trying out this first palette, the Rose palette. I'm gonna prime my eyes with my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer, and I'm gonna zoom you guys in, and we're gonna see how these shades perform on my eyes. All right, my eyes are primed, and we're gonna go into the Rose palette. I'm first gonna take the pretty yellow shade. I don't think these have names. Oh, Icy Pink Shimmer, Lemon Shimmer, Sunshine Yellow. Okay, those are the names. So I'm just gonna call this a yellow shade. All right, I'm gonna take the yellow. I'm gonna put it right up into my brow. It's showing up pretty nicely. It's a little powdery, but I'm kind of used to that using Huda's formula. All right, looking good so far. I like this yellow a lot. It's very interesting. It's like a fluorescent pastel, if that makes sense. And then I'm gonna go in with the more nudie pink shade, and I'm gonna put that in the rest of my crease. Again, a little powdery, used to that. Hopefully I can I'm trying to use as many shades as I can with this look. So I don't know how pretty it's gonna be. Sorry if you can hear all the noises. My puppy did not want to take a nap. He wants to play. Now I'm gonna take the kind of purpley nude shade. What color is this? I don't think this one's really gonna show up on me or do anything. I feel like this one's a little bit lighter than that pink I put on. Putting it somewhere. I don't think it's really showing up on me. Yeah, it's pretty much like my skin tone. So I'm just gonna take the purple shade and I'm gonna start putting this in my outer corner. Perfect Easter palette. And even if you don't use the yellow, I feel like this is a pretty cool palette just for like something like a soft glam with a twist. All right, that purple showed up. I'm also gonna put that same purple underneath my lower lash line, maybe half of my lower lash line. Here we go. All right, now I'm gonna use this shade, kind of more brownie shade. I fell in love with this shade when I swatched it. I'm only gonna use a little bit. No, I kind of like it a little bit more purpley. So I'm just gonna put that purple back on top there. So now I'm gonna try and use all these shimmers. So I'm gonna take the yellow shimmer. I'm gonna take it with a blending brush. Ooh, it picked up pretty nicely. I'm gonna put it up in my like crease area right here. Blend it into a little bit of that yellow, the matte yellow. This is such a pretty formula. It's kind of like that Diamond Bomb where it doesn't have a lot of like pigment to it, the actual shimmer, but it's like that kind of wet looking to it. And then I'm gonna take the kind of swirly purple and yellow shade. I'm gonna take it with my finger and I'm gonna put this on my lid. Ooh, you see what you mean? Like these shades are pretty soft, the mattes, and then the shimmers give it more of like a wet look without a lot of like pigment to it. Like this shade that I just put on my lid is probably the more pigmented shimmer. That's what you kind of gotta keep in mind with these shades. And then I'm gonna take the pinky kind of shimmer and take it with an eyeshadow brush. And I'm gonna put it in my inner corner, kind of in between the pink and the shade on the lid. And then I'm gonna take the kind of champagne-y color, highlight my inner corner. Yeah, these are 100% like the Diamond Bomb, or I just got my Extreme Frost in the mail. I used it in my video yesterday, and I used the Diamond Bomb in my video yesterday, and this formula of the shimmers is pretty dang close to how those are. So if you like the Extreme Frost and you like the Diamond Bomb highlighter and you want them in an eyeshadow form, this is what you need. And then I'm gonna take the kind of swirly shade that I put on my lid, and I'm gonna put it right in the front here, my lower lash line. Yeah, so these shades are gonna look really pretty in the sunlight, and they do look really pretty just in regular light, but they're not gonna be like full on Hello Shimmer. All right, I'm gonna finish up the rest of this look and I'll show you the finished look. All right, and this is the finished look with the rose palette. It did not turn out as rosy as I was kind of anticipating. It's definitely yellow and purpley with like some champagne in there. But for the rest of my look, I use the Fenty Beauty eyeliner in Grills. It's like this shimmery yellow shade. I think it looked really pretty to tie in more of the yellow. And then I put the Glossy Bomb in Pretty Please on my lips. And then the lashes are the Velour Effortless lashes in Would I Lie, that I thought just like a little something subtle. But I'm gonna insert a video of what this looks like in the sunlight, because I think this look looks day and night of a difference depending on where you are, because these shades really shine in the sunlight. They look really glittery and pretty in regular indoor lighting, but I also wanted to show you guys, I was kind of experimenting. So I'm gonna take this shade just on my finger here. I really think that the formula of this and the Fenty Diamond Bomb, take it on my middle finger, is pretty similar actually. They both have the same like reflectiveness. And then I'm also gonna take the Diamond Bomb 2, and I'm gonna put that on my middle finger, because I really feel like these formulas are pretty much the same things. So let me just do single swipe swatches. So Huda, Fenty, Fenty. Do you see what I mean? Like the way these formulas are, they're not like shimmers with like color payoff and then reflect. They're just a bunch of pressed reflective glitters. It was not a lot of like color underneath. I personally do like these formulas. I think they look really pretty, but if you like cash, but let me grab the Mercury retrograde. If you like something that's like, let me just take I'm just gonna take Cosmic, the first shade in the palette. If you like something that has more color, like this shade, it's colorful, but it also has like a reflect. If you like stuff like this, I don't think you're gonna like these palettes, because they have more of that like iridescent kind of a topper shimmer formula. But that is it for the first rose palette. I'm going to take this all off and we're gonna try out the next palette. I'm gonna try out the mint palette next, because I feel like this blue here was the most pigmented shimmer that I swatched. I'm sorry about my puppy. I gotta take him outside right now. I'm gonna try that palette out and see if it has a similar formula as these, but that is it for this palette. Let's get on to the next one. All right, getting into this mint palette, I'm gonna take the lightest kind of minty blue shade, and I'm gonna put this in my crease. This one requires a little bit more building up. I definitely say, well, I can't really say. These are pretty pigmented, but some of them I find you do have to kind of layer them up a little bit more. All right, now I'm gonna take the other minty green shade. I'm gonna put it right over top of that other shade. I'm also gonna put it in my outer corner. There's not that much of a difference between these shades. And then I'm gonna take the darker blue. This shade has a bit more pigment to it. I'm gonna put this in my outer corner, kind of deepen everything up a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, this has a bit more pop to it. I almost think these would work better if you had something almost like a white as a base. And then I'm gonna take the kind of brownish shade under my lower lash line. I'm gonna take that darker blue. I think I'm gonna put it a little bit further onto my crease, or onto my lid I mean, because I want to test out putting those shimmers on top of the eyeshadow as well as my lid. So I'm going to take the blue, I'm going to take it with my finger, I'm just going to put it over more in the center of my lid. Yeah, see, when you put it on top of eyeshadow, it shows up way more. And then I'm going to take the other kind of swirly shade. I'm going to take this one on an eyeshadow brush. I'm going to put it in my inner corner and kind of overlapping it with that shade in the center. Because this shade has like a little bit of like a, it's like a brownie, champagne-y color. It has a little bit of like a really light minty blue reflect. And then I'm going to take the lightest shade in the center there. I'm going to highlight my inner corner with that one. Ooh, that one's pretty. And then I'm going to take the kind of brown shimmer. I'm going to put it right in the front of my lower lash line. Yeah, this one's a lot more like a metallic than it is like that really iridescent shimmer. And then last shade, I'm gonna take the lightest kind of blue shimmer. I'm gonna highlight my brow bone with that. And then I'm gonna finish up the rest of this look and I'll be right back. All right, and this is the finished look with the Pastel Mint palette. I don't really think it came across as minty as I was kind of looking for it to be. It's a little bit more on the teal side in person, and with the rose palette it was a little bit more purpley. So I don't know what to think. I did use the same lip gloss and the same lashes. Also, for some reason this mint palette is a little bit harder to open for me, but I wanted to show what the shades look like. So I just swatched these two top shades because I feel like when you layer the two shades on top of each other, it makes a whole world of a difference with the shimmers. So if you are using this palette and you don't like this kind of shimmer, to layer it over the matte shades for sure. They layer pretty well over each other, but I did want to point that out if you want a little bit more pigment with your shades. And I'll show you guys what this look looks like outside in the sunlight as what it looks like in regular light. So my main cons with these palettes so far is I'm not the biggest fans of the super light shades. I do like the deeper shades a little bit more, but I don't feel like this is a mint shade at all that's on my lids. I definitely consider this more of a blue or a teal, not so much a minty shade. But again, I am trying to use as many shades as I can with these palettes. I could probably get a minty shade if I was really trying to go for that one specific look, but I'm trying to use all the shades I can. So we have one final palette to use, and I'm hoping this one turns out pretty purpley, but let's get into the last palette. All right, last palette is the Lilac palette. Let's hope this one goes pretty good. I'm gonna take this medium brown kind of a shade. I'm gonna smudge that under my lash line. Oh, that's not brown at all. Okay, that's kind of like a pinky shade. I was thinking it was gonna be a little bit more of an orangey brown. And then I'm gonna take this shade. I'm gonna put that in the front of my lower lash line. Okay, this one's a little bit more of like a peachy color. And then I'm gonna take the lightest purple, blend that all into my crease. Oh, this one is probably the lightest, or one of the light shades that actually shows up without a lot of effort. Okay, and I'm also gonna put it a little bit in my outer corner. And then taking the more medium purple and pretty much do the same thing kind of going and deepening the purple up. These shades are almost identical. They're pretty much the same shades, except this one is like a little bit darker. I could have honestly just started with this shade and just used a lighter hand. And then now I'm gonna take the deepest purple and do the same thing. Okay, this one's just a teensy bit different. I like the other shades are a little bit more on the warmer side. I'm gonna take the lightest pink shade. I'm gonna highlight my inner corner with that. That one shows up pretty nicely. This one's a little bit more like Huda's regular formula. And then I'm gonna take this kind of rosy gold shade and put it on my inner corner. Oh my god, I love this shade. This is one of my favorite shades I've ever seen. It is literally the most perfect rose gold I've ever seen. And then I'm gonna take the swirled shade. I'm gonna put this kind of in the center. Okay, so this one has a little bit more like a duochrome where it's kind of purpley and gold. And then I'm gonna take the purple shimmer and take this one with my finger. Yeah, this dark purple is more like that iridescent shade as well. It is not gonna show up like a dark purple unless you catch the light just right. All right, I'm gonna go and finish the rest of this look up and I'll be back with some final thoughts. All right, and this is the finished look. I still have the same lip gloss on, and then for a little bit of a highlight, I use one of the shades out of the Lilac palette, this lighter pink shade. I thought it looked super cool, especially because I feel like it has a very similar formula as the other highlighters I mentioned earlier in this video. I'm also going to insert the video of what this eye look looks like outside in the sun. I don't really know how I feel about these. I feel like these are cool mixed with other things. Like I would love to mix one of these palettes with the Mercury Retrograde palette, like even the Mint palette. Well, actually, let me open all these up. So I feel like with this Mercury Retrograde palette, I mean, even this shade, this one, the Rose palette looks really cool next to it. The Mint palette with the blues, even the purpley colors, I think would be a nice addition to this palette. I don't really find these palettes really wearable, or what am I trying to say? I don't really find these palettes that I really want to like grab this one and make up like a whole look. I feel like for this palette, if I were to gravitate towards it, I would definitely grab this one shade. I would probably grab most of the shimmers out of this shade, the yellow, and this matte brownish shade. And then for this palette, mostly this bottom row and the shimmers. So I definitely like the shimmers out of this palette the most, more than the matte. So if you don't like the shimmer formula as much as I do, I don't think you're gonna really like these. I'm really excited to kind of test these out a little bit more. My opinion on these is kind of up in the air about them. I'm not totally in love with them, but I don't just like trash them. I love the shimmers. The matte shades, I do want to experiment more with them because I feel like different than what I was kind of expecting it to be, especially like with the Rose palette. It definitely turned out more purpley than it did rose, and this Lilac palette has more of a rose gold in it, and these two mattes are, this is more peachy and this is more like a, I don't even know how to describe that shade. So let me know which palette piques your interest the most out of these three looks. Which one was your favorite? I'm definitely gonna have to experiment with these more. Let me know what your thoughts are. Definitely, if you're looking for a Huda Beauty palette, I strongly recommend this palette. I think this palette is amazing. I think spending a little extra money, like instead of getting two of these, I would definitely recommend getting this palette. This palette, I just love it. I love all the looks I've done with this. I love how you can get kind of a soft look. You can get something more deep. You can get pops of colors out of this. So if you're looking for Huda Beauty palettes, this one is my favorite Huda Beauty palettes thus far. But that is it for this video, guys. I thought I was gonna have more of an opinion. I absolutely love these when I swatched them. I do like all of the looks that I did. I just don't know how, I don't know. I'm just like, I wouldn't 100% suggest these, but they're fun to play with, and I love the shimmers. I absolutely love with the Fenty Beauty Diamond Bomb formula. So to have some eyeshadows that are kind of that similar formula, I love them in my collection. I'm not getting rid of them. I'm not returning them. I'm definitely keeping them, but I don't know if I would keep them for the entire palette as a whole. Definitely shimmers won it all for me. But if you haven't seen my last video, I did a 3 looks, 1 palette with the Sugar Pill mini color palette, and I used the Diamond Bomb and I used the Extreme Frost in that video. So that video will be right over here for you guys. This video will be suggested to you by YouTube, and my face will be right here if you click on it and subscribe to my channel.